Good evening, friends. Steve here with the highlights from this evening's Village Council meeting. First up this evening, during public comments, Jane Carroll addressed the council first to say that she had visited the new Ash and Vale bookstore downtown, that it's a very nice facility and a welcome addition to the village. She also asked what is being done about the property at 100 South Main Street. Sean stated that after several years of trying to contact the property owner, he finally made contact with one of the owner's sons just in the last couple of weeks. And now that they have a contact, the steps are underway to finally get that property cleaned up. And finally, she stated that she thought it would be nice if the village participated in Ohio Checkbook, making the village's finances publicly available online. Also, Kyle Davis presented council with the revised plans for the development of the property at 118 East Main Street. Those plans will now be submitted to the Zoning and Planning Commission. I'll let you know when those public hearings are scheduled. In the administrator's report this evening, they continue to work on changing out water meters as time permits and also working on performing this year's backflow prevention inspections. There's going to be some new fencing installed around the water plant. That looks like it should be done this month yet. And they continue to work on funding options for the erosion issue at the raw water pump station. Products are being delivered for the New London Avenue project. Some of them are being staged at the by the old Sword plant down on South Railroad Street. Some of the sewer fixtures are in. They expect to see the piping show up by the end of the week, so that project will be getting underway. And the crews will continue to work on the North Main to East Washburn storm sewer replacement as time permits. In zoning, from May 12th through June 3rd, 6 letters were sent out to property owners for zoning violations and 8 letters were sent out for high grass. They have also received the first residential CRA application for new construction in the village, and that application is under review. Had a report from the spring cleanup this year. During spring cleanup, 62 tons of trash was taken in. Landfill fees for all that amounted to $4,050. $500 were dumpster rentals for the large dumpsters from TLD, and it cost the village an additional $1,300 in labor to man the facility for the cleanup. But the village did recoup $1,200 in scrap metal that was dropped off and resold. Also on the sanitation side, the new trash totes should be in somewhere here in the middle of this month and will be delivered shortly after that. The village is also trying to get ahead of the mosquitoes this year before they get bad. Mosquito cakes were put out in some known problem areas in town before this last heat wave. They're trying to stay ahead of them with the mosquito cakes and also trying to keep all the grass mowed to keep the high grass down to stay ahead of the mosquitoes. From the cemetery, a second payment was made to Ashland Monument for the new columbarium. I struggle with that. That was ordered back in December of 24. It's scheduled to be delivered sometime this month. They're just waiting on Abers Crane Service to fit us into their schedule. From the Parks Department, Joe presented council with proposed rate increases for the reservoir campgrounds for 2026. The revenue generated by the increase would be used for improvements such as remodeling the shower house, a new office, and the possible addition of a splash pad or pickleball courts. Report from the ambulance. The Firelands Ambulance had 76 runs in May, including 28 within the village and 5 calls for mutual aid. In the fire chief's report, the fire department responded to 15 calls for service in May, in addition to several meetings and training sessions. The fire department received a grant from the Hospital Proceeds Board for $4,625 that was used for fire boots. That covered 12 pairs of boots. They also had 5 firefighters attend grain bin rescue class using the new grain bin rescue device that we showed you here a few weeks ago. Also know that the 1987 pumpers got issues. It'll be going down to Washington Courthouse tomorrow to get worked on. And wanted to remind everyone that Spill on the Hill's back. That'll be on July 20th this year, so mark your calendars for Spill on the Hill. In legislative action, the council approved the second reading of the ordinance to allow educational animal projects in the village. That has been revised since the first reading. The ordinance now indicates that it is poultry only. Also approved several items as emergencies. First off, renewal of the contract with the Huron County Sheriff's Office to provide dispatch services for the village. Also, an amendment to the ordinance appointing the village solicitor. Mr. Bond is retiring at the end of June, and Natalie Schulte from the same law firm was appointed to fill out the remainder of the year under that contract. Also approved an amendment to the annual appropriations for expenses, that is balancing the cemetery fund due to some changes in expected revenue and expenses. And finally, a then and now certificate for purchases already made, including some engineering for various projects and the purchase of fire boots. And finally, approved the first reading of an ordinance adjusting the pay ranges and pay rates for village employees. That was declared as emergency. It will take effect. There'll be 3 readings, but that will take effect immediately after the 3rd reading. Well, that is a recap from this evening's Village Council meeting. Thanks for watching. I am Steve. Have a great evening, and we'll be back in the morning with the morning update.